I'm just gonna tell you, straight up, it's a nuisance. I am not going on this vacation taking care of a wheelchaired person, okay?
My name is Shoko Tanaka, 32 years old, and I'm a housewife. I live together in company-owned housing with my husband, Yuichi, who's the same age as me. Just 6 months ago, we had our first child, a baby girl, and lucky for us, the company housing had a family room open, so we moved in. There is also one more thing that I need to explain about myself. I got into an accident as a child, and I've been wheelchair-bound ever since. However, now that I have the support of my husband, I'm able to live comfortably. The company housing I live in is a little bit unique because it has its own community of mom friends, a little group for the wives of the employees in this company. Well, all we do is get together for coffee or lunch and maybe have a group vacation once a year. Because a lot of us have kids, we're able to share information and take care of the kids if both parents are busy. Everybody is very understanding of my disability, and I never felt secluded until this new mom showed up.
Miss Shoko, have you heard?
Huh? What is it?
There's a new couple moving into the vacant room on the 4th floor.
That's one's a really nice room, isn't it? Is it one of the higher-ups?
It's the manager family, from HR, I think.
Well, someone's informed.
Oh, it's just that my husband works in the human resources department too, so basically, it's my husband's boss that's moving in.
I see. Do you know this family's name?
I'm pretty sure. It's the Akita family. He has a wife and a 1-year-old baby.
Oh, then they might be the same age as my daughter.
The manager is in his 40s, but I heard his wife is in her 20s. She seems pretty young. I hope she's nice.
Just like that, the Akitas moved into the room on the 4th floor. This husband of hers was pretty high up in the ranks, and we were excited to welcome a new member to this mom group. I was also happy to have a new friend for my daughter. The day the Akitas moved in, I was out of town to run some errands, so I couldn't say hi to them personally. Mrs. Yamada updated me on the details instead.
The Akita family moved in today, so I went over to say hi.
Oh, really? How was it? I need to find time to do that too.
We're actually planning to have tea with Miss Akita the day after tomorrow. You can say hi to her there. How about that?
That really helps. What was Miss Akita like?
Her name was Chiharu, and from what I saw, maybe she could be a former club hostess?
Oh, she's like the flamboyant type?
Yeah, something like that. She seemed like a nice person, though. She spoke with us in a frank manner, but she wasn't rude or anything.
That's good then. I'm not that much of a social person, so it's better for me to get to know people if they're friendly from the get-go.
Then I'll see you at the get-together in 2 days.
Okay. Thank you for letting me catch up on everything. From what I heard from Mrs. Yamada, Chiharu would look like the flashy type, but seemed very friendly. I thought if that's the case, I could get along with her. 2 days later, the group had gathered to go to lunch, and I met Miss Chiharu for the first time, but... Hi, it's very nice to meet you. I'm Shoko Tanaka.
Ugh, right. Hi.
She took one look at my wheelchair, and it seemed like she was taken aback by it. But I'm used to those kinds of reactions. I totally understand if people don't know how to act in front of people with disabilities. So it's always best to just explain to people what happened with my legs before anybody asks. Oh, I'm sorry to surprise you. My legs are disabled from a very young age, and I usually move about in my wheelchair, you see.
Okay.
I apologize in advance if anything bothers you. I always do my best not to inconvenience others.
Okay.
Her reaction felt kinda cold, and I didn't know how to respond. But I thought to myself, maybe she just wasn't used to interacting with people like me. And I thought if I gave her some time, she could get used to seeing me and we could be friends. But I would soon realize that my thoughts were overly optimistic and naive. For example, when we would go out to tea, some cafes would have entrances that aren't barrier-free. Even in cafes that I frequented, there would be days where I would get stuck and have trouble getting to the table. Then from behind, Chiharu would click her tongue at me. At first, I thought I was overthinking. It couldn't be her. But then she would obviously act in a way so that she doesn't look in my direction. If I were to inconvenience the group in any way, she would overtly pull a sick face. Even when we were talking as a group.
You know, my husband's the type to cash lots of money into his hobbies. He's not even that good at golf, but he keeps buying these expensive golf clubs.
Chiharu was complaining about her husband. I thought this would be a good chance to open up about myself and get to know each other better, so I chimed in. Oh, so the Akitas have the same issue too. My husband is also into golf, so I really understand how you feel.
Oh, is that So,
She was smiling and chatting just a few minutes ago, but the moment I spoke up, the smile would disappear. It was clear that she didn't like me. Of course, the other women in the same group had noticed this, and Mrs. Yamada sent me a text.
Hey, did something happen between you and Mrs. Chiharu? I feel a bit nosy, but, her attitude.
I'm sorry, I must have been making things feel awkward for everyone, but it's not like I did anything to her. I mean, I've barely even spoken with her.
Then is she bothered by your wheelchair?
I can't be sure, but I think so.
Seriously? How close-minded of her. I want to tell her off, but...
I understand, but if matters go wrong, your husband might get into unnecessary trouble.
Exactly. I don't think I can say anything to her directly. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, I understand. I'm used to this anyway. Under this unique environment of a company housing, problems like this aren't anything new. The husband's position in the company would directly affect the spouses in the system. So far, Chiharu's husband is ranked highest among us. That's why I can understand where Mrs. Yamada and the others are coming from. If I say anything against Chiharu, it was clear that things would get even worse. It couldn't be helped, so I decided to decline my new invitations for the time being. It felt bad, but I didn't want everybody else to feel awkward just because of me. Thankfully, I had already become good friends with all of the other mom group members, so even if I didn't attend the group meetups, I could still spend time with them at one time. I didn't feel sad at all. However, one day, I overheard Chiharu talking to one of the other moms in the same housing complex.
Was it Mrs. Shoko? It's so annoying, like, we always have to tiptoe around her. But she always shows up like it's natural for her to do so. She's so full of herself.
Chiharu clearly stated that I was a nuisance. This broke me, and I felt very hurt. Ever since I became disabled, I've been through lots of hardships, but to see a person express hate this directly, it rarely happens. It hurts even more because, I have to say, Chiharu's right about a lot of things. It's true. I cause a lot of trouble and I take up space. Nobody says things straight in my face, but I was always concerned that people might hate me deep down. I was feeling down for a while, and then came the time of the year where we had planned our annual employee family vacation. I attended last year's vacation, and I was planning to go this year too, but with Chiharu in the group, I had to rethink things a little bit. However, Mrs. Yamada called out to me.
You're coming to vacation this year, right? The people planning the trip want to know if you're coming or not.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, but I just don't know what to do.
Is it Miss Chiharu?
Yes.
If you're really hurting and don't want to be around her, you don't have to force yourself to come with us. But if you're just worried that you might trouble us, then please don't worry. We want you with us.
But still, I feel bad.
All of the other moms, including me, have never thought of you that way. Or have we done something that made you think so?
No, of course not.
Then let's go together. When we get there, we can just move about separately from Miss Chiharu.
Thank you so much. Yes, I would love to join you for the group vacation this year. Mrs. Yamada's kindness really convinced me, and so I decided to go on the trip this year. Of course, Chiharu would be attending the trip too, but I chose not to dwell over things too much. However, after Chiharu found out that I was coming on this trip, she went out of her way to text me.
So I heard that you're coming on this trip after all. You must be joking.
Oh, serious.
Well, I'm just going to tell you straight up. You're a nuisance. There's no way I'll be traveling with a disabled person. You're just trouble, and you'll just embarrass me.
Well, someone's very outspoken.
I mean, it's the truth. You should understand that you're bringing trouble to the group.
Well, the others say that's not the case.
Of course they will. Nobody is going to say you're a nuisance straight to your face.
Mrs. Chiharu, are you saying that you just don't want me to go on this trip?
Yeah, just don't come.
But why should I oblige?
Are you not aware of my husband's position in the office?
He's the manager in the HR department, right?
Yes, and your husband works for?
He's the section chief in the planning department. But that's our husband's standing. It shouldn't matter in this case.
You know, that's not the case in our community. If I just talk to my husband, your husband can lose his job just like that. Are you risking all of that just to go on this trip?
You're just being outright rude and unfair. Do you understand how ridiculous you're being right now?
I don't care if I'm being unright. You better think very carefully about the words I just said.
Okay, I'll think about it.
You better give me a good reply, and do it fast.
If she's just hating on me at this point, even my strong will was on the verge of wavering. I wasn't used to this kind of vicious hate, and I was wondering if I had made the wrong choice. I didn't want to crush the mood of the whole vacation, and I was certain we were going to bother everybody around us. I was second-guessing myself again. Maybe I should just not go at all. But then I received this text from my husband.
The trip is next weekend, right?
Yep, it's going to be an overnight stay from Saturday to Sunday.
Okay, gotcha. I'll make sure to get all of my tasks finished so I'd never get called in for work on the weekends. Don't worry about me and our little princess. Go and have fun.
Thank you, but I'm not sure anymore. I might not go.
Did Ikeda's wife say something to you?
Huh? Why do you know about this?
Mrs. Yamada told me. She said that you were struggling, like I should be there to support you. I kind of got scolded.
But really, it's my problem at the end of the day.
No, don't say such a sad thing. This Sunday, can you make time for me?
Sunday rolled around, and I went over to the Akitas with my husband. I had no idea what Yuichi was planning. He just insisted that I visit her, and when we did...
Excuse me? What do you want?
She was visibly and audibly unhappy that I came around to her place on the weekend. However, before I said anything, my husband spoke up.
Hello. It's very nice to meet you, Mrs. Chiharu. We haven't talked yet, have we? I'm Shoko's husband.
Yeah, whatever. Hi.
I heard from my wife that there's been some trouble going on between you two, so I came over to see if we could talk things out.
Ha! So you went over to cry to your husband. There's nothing to discuss.
Now don't be so angry.
Jeez, you're so annoying. I said just leave already.
She was very adamant on chasing us out, but from the back of the room came Chiharu's husband, Kieda. Kieda seemed really annoyed to be disturbed on the weekend, but the moment he saw my husband, he began bowing down, looking panicked. Chiharu straight up looked confused, and I can understand. Kieda is a manager, and my husband is just a section chief. It was obvious Chiharu's husband was ranked higher, but there he was. Kieda seemingly respects my husband a lot.
I just came over to talk, you know. Your wife is acting like she doesn't really like my wife. And I thought it'd be best if we sort out this problem for future situations. My wife is doing what? Yes. Hey Shoko, what did you say about the text that Mrs. Chiharu sent you?
Huh? That's
It's okay. Trust me.
He softly placed his hand on my shoulders, and I decided to tell the truth. That she doesn't want disabled people around her, and that she absolutely does not want to go on this trip if I'm going. The moment Kieda heard my words, he glared over at Chiharu.
Did you really say that to her? That's crossing the line of just being rude.
Hey, wait a minute. Why are you even acting like that towards him? You're obviously in a higher position.
My husband reluctantly revealed our true identity to Chiharu. First things first, I'm actually the daughter of the company Yuichi and Kieda work for, which means Yuichi is next in line to succeed the position of CEO. Obviously, not everybody knows this fact. Only a selected group of people know this, so my mom friends aren't aware either. Before our marriage, Yuichi was just another employee for a different company. My dad accepted our marriage under two conditions. 1, Yuichi works for his company. 2, Yuichi proves himself as a worthy employee while hiding his identity as a potential future CEO. Basically, if Yuichi wanted to marry me, he had to prove to my father that he was capable. Just like that, Yuichi changed jobs to work in my dad's company. It's been 5 years, and ever since he's been achieving lots of results. And just a few days ago, his achievements were acknowledged by my father. It was decided that next month, we will officially announce that Yuichi will be the future CEO. And when that happens, Yuichi will be in charge of the new branch that's getting ready to launch. Adding to that, it was decided that one of the new managers that will be assigned to this new branch would be Mr. Kieda Akeda. He was one of the first of the regular employees to know about Yuichi's true identity. Basically, it was a given by this point that my husband will soon become Kieda's boss. So it was clear that Chiharu's attitude towards me was more than unforgivable. Chiharu's expression grew pale by the second, and by the time we finished explaining,
We are so terribly sorry. Hey, get over here and apologize too, you dumb wife!
I'm sorry.
her husband half forced her to give this bare minimum apology, and there it was. Personally, I was okay with just ending things like this, but that wasn't really the case. Chiharu had lost all of Kieda's trust, and he gave her a restraining order, so I don't have to deal with her anymore. Of course, that meant Chiharu was not joining us for the annual vacation, and it would be very awkward for her to join any of our future get-togethers. The rest of the mom group, including myself, weren't close with Chiharu in any way, so that didn't affect our dynamic, though. I was able to enjoy our group get-togethers just as I used to, and I joined the trip too. Things were back to normal. Chiharu's relationship with her husband worsened after this whole incident, and it resulted in a divorce. She wasn't able to get the parental rights to her kids, and just left the company housing on her own. I feel so blessed to be surrounded by such wonderful mom friends. I'm also a part of a wheelchair community that I met through social media. And when I told them my story, the drama that went down, they told me it's not uncommon. They told me that I should be blessed to have a supportive friend group and a caring husband. Just being in a wheelchair is hard enough. Sometimes people even yell at me to not board the train because I'm taking up too much space. We're still socially very vulnerable, so please, if you ever meet a person in a wheelchair in public, you don't have to help us. Just don't treat us like we're taking up too much space.
Okay. Do you want to go on a drive date this weekend?
Thank you so much for always taking me out to all these different places. I'm so happy and lucky that you're my husband.
No, that's my line. I want to thank you.